Oh, the Musashi. Oh, Void version 2. Oh. FragWatch here. Today we're going to be doing I'm skipping the initial impressions because I have over review hours on this. This is my review of the Musashi Void version 2 cloth gaming mousepad. Let me tell you what, absolute pleasure. Comparison feel, I'm going to compare it to a Kurosan Samurai Vaxi PD. High praise from me. I'm going to give you a little wink and a nudge. This, in some form or another, is in my top 5 video for 2024. That's high praise. There's a ton of great pads. Great. And that's my overall video for all styles of pad. For just my cloth pad video, I have it tied right now at a position. I'm trying to work out with 3 mouse pads where those are going to fall. So, it's almost certainly going to be in my top 5 cloth gaming mouse pads for 2024. High praise. Start off with let's try and find the bad. I do have concerns about its durability after long-term use, like 500 hours. Let's see if you guys can't see that. I wonder if I didn't do it. Dang it! I don't have my micro SD card. It did not come yet. I cannot find an extra one. They're so small. Ugh. But the weave is so tight that you can't see the weave. It looks, you see just these little bumps, but the fibers are so porous and poofy that they merge together. Now, when you look at the pad, it looks like it's got like just a up and down perpendicular pattern to it. But when you look closely, it's just, it's almost just like one solid piece of felt under a magnifying glass. My concern, it might not be a concern, it might not even play better when it's at that amount of usage, is that over time with heavy use or with heavier, more pressure applying grip styles, it's going to develop holes at the microscopic level that pulls the fibers apart. Small concern. I wouldn't consider it a negative yet because I don't know whether that's going to happen, but it's a concern of mine. So far it's holding up great. It's gotten better over time. The glide of this is just, man, look at that. Trying to stop right at his hair. Right here. It's effortless. The overall, even so up here isn't as broken in because, look how far I'm having to stretch my arm. This is very smooth to the touch. This is much more felty, velvety. Even right when you're beginning, it's got just such good stopping power. And when I'm in a static aim, let's say my arm's jittery, I just had too much caffeine, so I'm trying to make my arm jitter. I'm able to apply pressure and keep the mouse in place. That's a characteristic of it having enough give. Typically that's what helps with that. That's why I prefer X-Soft pads. This is not an X-Soft, by the way, not at all, not by any stretch of the imagination. This would be comparable to a firm artisan mid. It's a pretty firm pad, but it does have enough give to give it enough Z-axis stopping power to hold a mouse in a static aim position. So is this mouse pad good for CS2 and Valorant static aim games? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's even stronger for tracking games though. Marvel Rivals, I was killing it with this pad. Holy moly, I love it. I performed awesome with this pad. Like, it's very, like, I'm struggling to take this off my desk. That's why I'm doing this review, is so I am forcing myself to move on. Like, in my mind, I'm like, you can do the review on Monday. You can kick it back 5 days, because then you get to play on this pad for longer. Here's the good news. It's probably going to be a reference pad. So in my live streams, if you see this pad pulled out, I'm doing reference testing to make sure my performance is good that day. That it's not the equipment's fault if I'm doing bad or if I'm doing super good, right? I'm trying to find if it's the equipment that's performing well or that's assisting in my gameplay, either in a good or bad way, or whether it's just me on that day. So it helps me kind of balance that out and find that out. It's probably going to be one of those pads where I know I perform consistently at a good level on. So, colors. Let's see. So let me do a little. I thought this was cool. Is that red? And there's these little red accents down here. And it took me like a second to figure out what that is. It's a reflection of, and they're all in line, which is good from a manufacturing point of view, because they just, it was one scan with that red out, which is good for that process. But it's just beautiful. The art is it's beautiful. Pleasure to look at. So this is the Quix V4 by Pulsar. Really matches that well. This was another one I thought matched really well, was the HTR 8K in their red. This is by G-Wolves. Matches that just awesome, man, just awesome. I thought the endgame gear looked cool on this pad. Just the white, like, very vibrant mouse moving along there. Just, yeah. Let me give it pure black. Well, not pure black. It's kind of like a little bit lighter than pure black, but that's how a black mouse looks on this gliding around. Pretty cool. I think this is gonna, for most people, be considered a balance pad that plays more controlled. Ice cold water. I mentioned this in one of my recent videos. I make my own water, my own bottled water, because I'm a water nerd. I spend probably 30 minutes to an hour a day making water. If you want to ask me about that, I'd love to talk about it. Oh, ask me about my water. Okay. Backing on this is not pour on, but it sticks really well. As you can see, it does just gather debris. And if you have a lot of experience with mouse pads that pick up dust and debris and it adheres to the material when you fold it back, typically stick to your desk really well. That's just an example of how, adhesive they are. This is awesome. Like, I am like pressing with all my might into that in just a small area and trying to move it. And I was only able to, that was like, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters? Pretty impressive. I'll do my arm test. Get the mouse down. Or the mic. Heat, no pink. That's nice. That's nice. Not going to need a sleeve with this. I did my humidity testing 3 days ago. That was miserable. I wasn't feeling well that day either. That was miserable. When I do my humidity test, I also do my heat test, just to accentuate and exaggerate how that's going to be in hotter environments. Maybe a person without AC in the summer in a humid climate trying to use this pad. I had no issues, and in those conditions, I typically have issue. Well, not typically, but on a lot of pads, I'll have issues with that. I had no issue with this. It did feel thicker, more thick, and a little bit slower, for sure. However, I like to add this caveat. I was feeling sick and I was tired that day, so that could have been that. That could have been me just being slow and tired myself and thinking the pad was feeling a little bit more controlled under those conditions. And I had it up to 93% humidity in here. Like, I put a 4-foot tall, huge humidifier in here and run it for 12 hours. And this room is 15 by 12, about a little bit of a oddly shaped room, but it's about 15 by 12. Close the door. It's got a return HVAC, so I seal that off, and it's got the vent. It's winter here, so we're getting a little bit of heat in, and getting that. It climbs pretty quick with computers in here on. So the room temperature I probably got to 82, and it was miserable in here. I was sweating. I don't think I did that was late Tuesday. I think I started that process during my live stream on Tuesday. If you want to check that out, probably had it about 75% at that time. But by the end of the day, yeah. And this performed well. I digress. I buy all my material. I think that gives me a more honest outlook and a more consumer-based outlook on the products I review. So I'm going through the same trenches, the same processes to get things. I'm not getting binned units. I'm not getting the best of their units, the ones that go through like 8 passes of quality control. I'm getting what consumers get. If you saw my opening of that, it's what consumers potentially get. You know, a reviewer would never get that shit. Period. I had no issues with this. No issues. This is the stitching. I wish it were a little more fine grain, softer. It's about even with the pad, a little bit recessed, like less than a millimeter. So I consider it pretty even with the pad. And it is coarse. It's not going to screw up your arm though. Like, I'm moving my arm around on it. No problem. No, I don't even feel it. So if I had to rate this mouse pad out of 10, mid 9, so like 9.4, 9.5. Well, it's a great balance pad. It's on the control end of that. I don't think you're going to have any problem with any skates on this. I played good with it with the HTR, which I have dot skates on, and fingertip grip. For hawk grip, I played good with the ULX competition and the Viper. I also played a claw with this. My claw with this is an aggressive claw, so I'm putting more force into it. Where's that Stormbreaker? I played palm grip with the Stormbreaker Max, and a lot more pressure on the pad. I played pretty good with it, but I played good for my palm grip. I typically palm grip mice or use mice like that in more relaxed games that have longer sessions. RTSs, Diablo, PoE. I've been enjoying claw style work, but that's a much more difficult game. I don't have anything negative to say about this mouse pad. I recommend it. It's going to be in my top 5 list of cloth pads for 2024. It's almost certainly going to be a reference pad from here on out, which means it's staying in this room. I didn't want to do this review because I wanted to keep it on my desk. I just play with it for more days. I got tons of mouse pads. I'm doing an unboxing right after this of the next pad. So here we go. Thanks for watching. So this is FragWatch, and we've been watching the review of the Musashi 2 Void, that is 2. See you guys on the next moon. Oh, my mouse isn't on. You guys get an extra couple seconds to me. Catch you guys in the next one.